Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Aishi Verano here, and today I have a special guest, and I'm just going to let him introduce himself. Hey.
Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Shams, and today you're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be sharing a few thoughts with you, and thanks to Aisha for bringing me on this show. You guys should like, subscribe, share with your friends, because man, there's some really amazing content on there.
Oh, thank you, Shams. Really appreciate it. So let's just get into it, okay? So today, you already know what we're talking about, but for the viewers today who don't know what we're talking about, today we're just having a conversation about predominantly men, and why do men say they like a certain thing and then date someone who doesn't have that thing they say they like, and then try to change the person that they date into the image of who they want. So I don't know if you recall, but I was saying about how I saw a post online on Instagram. I think it was a Twitter post. But I saw a post online which was saying something about I'm just gonna read it so that everyone can have context, even though I know me and you have already talked about it. So if you like thick women, please go for thick women. If you like slim women, please go for slim women. If you like women who do makeup, find one. If you like women who are team natural, go for one. Stop asking women to change themselves for you. Go for what you fancy from the outset, okay? So, which begs the question, why do guys actually do this? Why do they go for, let's say a guy that's into team natural? You see a girl like me, face beat to perfection, and you're talking about you don't want a girl that wears makeup. Why did you come to me then, bro? Why? So yeah, Shams, take it away.
So this is a pretty interesting topic. I'm not even going to lie. Like once I said, I was like, this is pretty interesting because a lot of people are guilty of this. If we're being very honest, I mean, I'm never going to say just guys are guilty of this. People have a habit to tend to make people to how they want them to be, even if they met
Mm-hmm.
them in a particular um s- um. For instance, I could give an example of a girl meeting a guy, or let me
Mm-hmm.
give an example of a guy meeting a girl, and then he meets her and then probably likes her because of her personality.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? But then those are the features that attract him to her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So if he
Yeah.
looks at the face, obviously physical now comes behind, now takes like the back seat when it comes to like
Mm-hmm.
the personality and stuff. So he's trying to like match this personality to the body
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to. So that's a different
Right.
topic altogether.
So he
Then
saw
it
the
comes off as
personality,
it could
but the
come,
body was not matching.
yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
Exactly. So like you see the personality, but the body is not matching. But then you really want like the certain like personality features that this person has. Do you get what I'm saying? So that
Mm-hmm.
makes you kind of develop feelings for the person. So, but what I would suggest, though, personally, if it's
Mm-hmm.
not within the person's interest, you shouldn't push for it. For example, if you meet a girl and then you fall in love with her because of her personality, and then she actually shows an interest in like working out and stuff like that, then you can actually be of help. It all
Mm-hmm.
depends on like if the person is like willing to actually lose that weight or like get in shape and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So I think it's just having an understanding of who you're with. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Know what they like to
Right.
do, know what they don't like to do, and encouraging them. But guys, particularly, I don't know why you would get with someone and try to change the behavior. I feel like sometimes there are certain features that you would do. Like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, you can be a very outgoing person. He could fall in love with that, but
Right.
then he wouldn't want you to be outgoing because you could meet would fall in love with that. Does that make
Ugh.
sense?
Right.
So it's sort of
It's like be
like
outgoing, but don't be
create
outgoing publicly. Be outgoing towards me.
ex- exactly. You were outgoing, that's
Mm.
why I found you, and now you want to go out there so someone else can find you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it could be a psychological thing, and it could also just depend on like knowing what the person wants. But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, you need to go for what you like and be ready to accept that this person might not change the way I want. I mean, obviously we've seen issues of cases of women being with guys that are like obviously not doing so well and not like trying to chase their goals. But obviously he has different personalities. Maybe he's a caring person and she likes that
Mm-hmm.
about him. But then she gets
Mm-hmm.
into his life and like try to make him
He's a
do
bum, but he
stuff with his
makes
life.
time for her.
You get what I mean? But now she wants to turn him from a bum to like a responsible person. Do you get what I'm saying? So those
Yeah.
kind of things are so it's all on two sides. Depends on how you look at it, to be honest.
To be honest, I really like what you said, that it's all on two sides, because if you think about it, on the one hand, guys like to get with girls that are not their exact spec, and then after then try to now change them and mold them into their spec. But if you also think about it, some women do it as well, where they date for potential of what this person could become, as opposed to who that person is. And then you just see that they start doing like, oh honey, why didn't you do this, do this, do this, do this? And it's just like they're nagging them now. It's gotten to a point where you're being nagged, and I mean by men and women, about various different things you need to change about yourself. Now for me, I can't lie, that thing frustrates me, because I've been on the receiving end of that a lot. So I'll give you an example. Let's say like this guy was really into me. He knew how I dressed. I'm a fashionista. I love fashion. I'm all about my expression through fashion and makeup and stuff. I feel like I don't hide that. Like if you go on my Instagram page, you can see it for yourself. If you go on my YouTube page, you can see it for yourself. Like this is who I am. I'm not going to just suddenly change. But I've always met guys who then, like, now I'm not going to say all the guys I've met, come on, but like there have been a good amount of guys who then, once we start talking, once things are starting to get a little serious, the next thing you're like, oh, maybe don't wear that top. And I'm a bit
Well,
like,
see,
wait, what?
I'm going to cut in there real quick, and I'm
Okay,
going to
go
say
in.
there has to be trade-offs from two
Mm,
sides. I mean,
mm,
someone can come into your life and you would say, I'm not going to change anything about myself. No, you have to accommodate that person in your life
mm-hmm.
one way or the other.
Right.
However, there's a line. You always have to like compromise, but not compromise too much.
Mm-hmm.
Compromise reasonably. But also that boils down to how reasonable your partner is. I mean, some people are just not reasonable. Do you get with me? Like you cannot like there's no amount of compromise that is enough. They just keep
Mm-hmm.
taking because they don't know the boundaries and stuff like that. So it's all very complex. This particular topic, I feel like, is also is kind of complex because of that. Because
Mm,
everyone has an I feel like everyone that gets into a relationship tries to change a part of their partner. Maybe it could just be a
mm,
little thing. Maybe it could be um the guy doesn't know how to dress that well. She's like trying to get him some stuff, some kind of new shoes, the ones she likes or she thinks that will make him look better. So like I
mm-hmm.
feel like that's also it's just the little things about
Mm-hmm.
people that people try to like change. So yeah. And then people let's say ladies, you're talking about they don't like when the guy tries to change them in the relationship while trying to change the guy as well, because it's
Mm-hmm.
you don't see your own the things you're doing on his side, and obviously if you ask him, there are things that you want him to change that he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to, but he would have
Right.
done a trade change those things just for there to be like harmony in the relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
then if he asks you to like make a change and then you don't, that's where the problem comes, because he feels like
Mm-hmm.
he's made a change in his life to accommodate you
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to do that. So it's all just different, you know.
I think people need to be like really careful with the whole change thing, because like you can't ask someone to change parts of them that make them who they are. So for example, someone that is outgoing, you cannot suddenly tell them to turn into this like person that does not say hi to nobody. That does not like, meet someone and be expressive and, be kind towards them and bubbly. Like for me, I'm a bubbly person, regardless, like wherever you meet me. Like I'm the person that walk up to a stranger and be like, oh hi. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like if you think about that, like if I was then with a partner who wanted to like limit my outgoingness, if that's even a word, and they're like, oh, why are you talking to him? Why are you talking to her? Why? It's not going to work. It's going to frustrate me, and it's going to frustrate the partner because he's going to realize she's not going to change. That is who she is. And I shouldn't have to be forced to change that part of me that makes me part of who I am. Like, it's like telling someone to change their personality is different from trying to help someone be better in life. Like, changing that personality thing is not going to make me better in life. It's a different thing if I've been struggling with working out and I've been saying to you, like, see, I want to get better at working out. And you're like, okay, fine, let's work out together in the mornings. Let's work out together later in the evening. Let's do this together. You know, I'm into fitness. I can get you into fitness as well. Let's do this together. That's different. Yes, we're both trying to change, or I'm helping you change with something that is important to you, something that you want to pursue. But I'm not trying to change you. So for me, I go back to like expressing the fashion thing, because for me, fashion isn't just anything. Fashion is part of my life. It's part of who I am. It's part of my way of expression. And so when I'm with a guy and I wear something and he's like, change it. I don't like your arms being out. It's like, what am I gonna do with that? Like,
And that's a bit extreme for me. That one is a bit extreme. That's a bit extreme. But when it comes to I mean, dressing is a different thing. I don't think you can really control a person's dressing. You can obviously give your inputs, but it's down to the person like taking that input or not. So obviously
right.
a girl can be some girls don't like when their men sag, and they can be like, babe, I don't like you sagging. Do you get what I mean? And obviously, he's not trying to argue with you, and you just pull it up or something, or maybe you just keep it. That's the way he likes it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's different. But what I feel is that this is why it's very important to just state your terms while you guys are talking during the talking stage. You just need to lay it all out there. If you know that this is, don't come into the relationship and try to make me work out. I'm fine. Like, you need to let this person know I like to go out. You met me going out. I hope you're not going to try and change me to be staying at home. You get what I mean? If you can reach a compromise, okay, babe, we'll do 3 times in a week. How's that? Do you get what I mean? I feel like it
Yeah.
all comes down to understanding from the go what you want and making sure the person understands it. Do you get what I mean?
Do you
Let the
think
person understand the terms.
do you think the onus is on the person who doesn't want to change, or do you think the onus is on the person who wants to change something about the other person? So express that during the talking stage.
Well, I feel like let's put it like this. If I was approaching someone, I would state my own terms and I would expect the person to state their terms. However, anybody that doesn't explicitly states it or doesn't imply it in a way, then I'm not. Do you get what I mean? I wouldn't really know what you want and what you don't want. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, you
Yeah.
could see, have an example. Okay, your girl's always complaining about, damn man, I just looked in the mirror today and my belly looks big. But you're like, oh, do you actually want to change anything about it, or you just like talking about it, stuff like that? If she already told you that she's fine with her body and all of that, then there will be no need to like suggest all of that, because you know obviously she's not trying to do any of that. She's just saying her mind out. But then you can mistake it for what she's saying. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's just a different angle, to be honest. But everyone should state their terms, everything they want from the relationship. If you know that this is what you're trying to get good at, what you're working on, state it. So like the person is aware. Know that you can state that you have communication issues. Obviously, that's I feel like if you state that you have communication issues, then you're aware. I mean, it's one thing to be aware of the problem, but some people just have communication problems and they don't know that they have communication problems. So stuff like that. I just believe that everyone needs to state their terms clearly, and obviously everyone needs to have common sense. If you don't have common sense, then everything you're saying doesn't make sense. It automatically doesn't make any
Fair
sense. Yeah.
enough. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think like it's one of those things where if you have a certain expectation, so for example, if you met me a certain way and there's something that is itching you to change about me, please tell me before you put me in a situation where I'm in a relationship with you. I don't have time to then be like in a relationship or dating you seriously for you to not be like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. Tell me
I
before.
feel like
Don't let it get into sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I can let you finish. But I
Yeah,
feel
I was
like
like, don't let it
there's
get
also
into a point where it's serious. Like, don't let it get to a point where then you're like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like this. Like, bruh, so what do you like? Why are you here?
yeah.
Why are you here, my
I feel
brother?
like
Why?
so much sense. That actually makes so much sense. But the thing is, these are part of the red flags you have to watch out for. You have to watch out for the red flags. Someone who is always complaining that you can't be eating out all the time, or this and that, and like he likes his women always staying at home and like maybe making his.
Always staying at home, lol.
But I mean, you can have your own red flags that you watch out for
Mm-hmm.
to be like, you get what I'm saying? So you don't have to do too much talking. So some people can talk, but like you need to watch their actions, like what they constantly get irritated at. That's why I feel like unless I feel for me though, I sight red flags from afar and I would just literally just move aside. So I don't just
Remove
have to deal
yourself.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So if I will only explore those red flags in detail if I know that I actually want to be with this person. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like those are part of the red flags to watch out for. If this man is saying, I don't really like girls that go out though every night they'll be going out. I don't really like you already know that he doesn't like girls that go out. So you already know that okay, there might be issues there from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go ahead and go into a relationship with that guy, you already know that this is what's going to this is a problem that could potentially arise. So I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like you need to watch out for them red flags because those things they are just pointers to what's gonna develop in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think like everybody in dating, that's the whole point of dating. I feel like you need to wake up and be like watching every red flag, like, yeah, like your life depended on it, fam. Because, fam, it probably does. You know what I mean? Like for me, I have a
Yeah.
huge pet peeve of like controlling people because I'm like one of those people where I just feel like my personality will not work with trying to be controlled. Like,
Yeah.
let me do the control. Let the Holy Spirit control me. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
be the other person trying to control me, you know? So for me now, am I
Okay,
saying
wait,
that
wait.
there are certain things that I would be like, okay, fine. Like, you know, my man likes it a certain way. All right, cool. Like, I can make certain adjustments, but those are things that are not that deep for me. But things that are non-negotiables for me, I'm not going to be compromising on those things. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you? Does that mean that you cannot be with a guy that's controlling?
I cannot. I can I say it in capital letter? I cannot.
What
I
definition of
cannot.
control?
I can't. What?
Yeah, what's your definition of controlling? What's your
Ha,
definition of controlling? How
fam.
would you define someone?
Anyone that is like, I'm just trying to live my best life. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't do this. Oh, like, no. I'm not going. I'm not going to be controlled. No.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What about your own definition of you being the
I'll
one
give.
in
Let me
control?
give you a perfect example of control. So there was this guy I was talking to once, and we weren't even like in a relationship or anything. But like when I would go out to see my friends, it would be like, "Oh, but you saw that friend yesterday. But didn't you see your friend yesterday? But didn't you this?" I'm like, "Bruh, if I want to see my friends every day, I'm going to freaking see my friends every day. What is the problem?" Now, and it's
I
not
mean,
because he was trying to spend time with me, right? It wasn't because we lived far away from each other. It was a long distance thing anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like that. And we used to talk all the time anyway. Like it wasn't, there was no issues with the whole, but it was just the idea of, oh, you're going to see your friend, you're leaving your house. Oh, how long are you going to be there for? When are you leaving? Oh, you went there yesterday. Why are you going there again today? I'm like, it's a different friend. Oh, how many friends do you have? Why do you have so many friends? I like peace. I like
yeah,
peace. I
everybody
don't
like.
like to see messages that annoy me. Sorry, say that again.
Sorry, I need to ask this question. Did you see these signs before you got into the relationship with him?
We did not get into
Were
a
they
relationship. I jackpot, man. I ran. What the
okay?
heck? I ran. I put my
Uh,
slippers on my head and I ran.
well, it's good. It's a good thing you did. At least you identified it earlier. So that's not good. Some people are too.
I did
The thing
though.
is that some people are too desperate to see any signs, man. Like honestly,
That's
with
you
the
what?
way some people are too desperate to see any red
Mm,
flag. I mean,
that's a word.
to be honest, when they tensioned us in 2020, like whenever you're ready, you see. um picture, you see videos of couples, they just tensioning their lives. You understand what I'm saying? People could say,
Mm-hmm.
man, I need to get into a relationship, and the next person that just like, man, you're popping or you're looking really good tonight. Like, what's happening now? Let's link. Before you know it, they're in a relationship. So, and then before you know it, it's too late. It's too late to like figure it out. But obviously, you can obviously end the relationship, but then you just have like your time wasting and stuff like that. So, it's obviously good to be patient and like weigh your options at all times. That's just the most important thing.
100%. I'm such a believer of like choose someone that fits what you want. Now I understand that they might not have everything to a T, but the things they don't have, let it not be your non-negotiables. If they are your
Yeah.
non-negotiables, then you need to have a conversation before you get into anything serious with that person. Say, see, oh, my non-negotiable is that your dress must be touching here and must end here. Do you get? This is my non-negotiable. If you cannot do that, I don't think we can. Do you know what? Like, I feel like if everyone treated dating very, very on a very transparent level, where everyone was like, do you know what? I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you to waste your time. Let's just not waste each other's time. Let me be honest with you. I have a huge thing about the way people dress. For me, I don't think off shoulder is appropriate. For me, I don't think a backless dress is appropriate. That's not what I want
Yeah.
my woman wearing. Okay? I like my woman looking a lot more on the conservative side. Now, first of all, if you saw someone that wears all of these things, why are you even going to go and meet her in the first place? Leave her alone for the guys that like that now.
To be honest, I feel like just stick to your spec. If you like a conservative
Thank
person,
you.
then be
Stick
with
to
a
your
conservative.
spec. Let that be that.
If you want a bad, be with a bad bitch. Then don't try and make her into like a conservative when you met her. If you know what, I feel like sometimes it's the hypocrisy for me because like you meet a girl and the very same reason that you fall in love with her is what you're going to change. Because she was
Exactly.
outgoing, because she liked to look all the time, you fell in love with her, and then afterwards, I feel like it's also sort of like I feel like it's also sort of like a control thing. It could be a control thing. I mean,
It
you
is.
don't want her looking like that in front of other people because you feel maybe she's gonna get a lot more attention. And
Mhm.
obviously, you're like, it could be a trust issue as well. I feel like it could be a trust issue as well, stopping people from going out because, like, maybe you think maybe it could just be like a kind of knowledge that you think that this girl maybe she likes dudes a lot. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it could be that, different things about people, but I think maybe the controlling factor should be the highest one because you can't really be controlling people in this day and age. I mean, like it is
A
what it is.
hundred
People are
percent.
adults. What all you have to do is either be supportive or leave.
Yeah, and the thing about
Facts.
control is like at some point, right, the person is gonna get tired of being controlled. So then when they now get tired of being controlled and then they turn on you or they suddenly find their voice, then you're now like, oh my god, I didn't know who this person was. She was exactly who she was. The only difference is you've controlled her to the point where she felt like she had no voice. Or he felt like he had
Yeah.
no voice and just had to stick to whatever he do. And also I think it brings resentment. If I cannot be my absolute self in a relationship and I keep having to make adjustments left, right, center just for to be with this person, it's only a matter of time before I start to resent this person. When I look at myself and I'm like, who are you?
Yo, that's exactly what I was going to say. You just look in the mirror one day and you're like, who have I turned into? That's when you know that okay, you've made too much. Like the compromises you've made
Compromises.
is just what I mean. So I feel there's always a limit because takers will take, you know, and givers are always inclined to give. So it will
Mm-hmm.
always be that kind of relationship. You know what I mean? So like you need to set your boundaries, man. You need to set your and most importantly, you need to know because it's a different case for dating and it's a different case for marriage because you get stuck with that person. Obviously, if it doesn't go well, then you're stuck with the person. But if it goes well, then it's all good. Like you're having fun. Oh my god, I love
Yeah,
my I
happily
love my marriage
stuck.
and stuff like that. So I feel like the dynamics change. You're allowed to like do yeah. I feel like that's what dating is for as well. You need to use that to like know what you can put up with and know what you can't put up with. Because like there are some negotiables you have that you don't know are non-negotiables, and then
Mm-hmm.
you see someone that hits that negotiable so hard, you're like, this is not something I can deal with. I thought I could deal with it before, but I can't. So that experience helps you to grow. So if you don't have that experience and then you meet that kind of behavior during like when
Mm-hmm.
you're already married, it's a different case. But notwithstanding, you can't actually know the behaviors, like every single behavior of everyone. Like
Mm-hmm.
people change. You get what I mean? People change under different circumstances. So you can never really be totally covered, but you want to do everything in your power to like give yourself the best chance at having like just saving your peace of mind. To be honest, like just give
Mm-hmm.
yourself the best chance of saving. That's what's most
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, I think for me, it's so important what you said about peace of mind. And I say that because, like, for me as a person, like, I feel like in this world, so many things are happening. Like, peace of mind is golden, man. So any
So top
person
one.
that does not allow me to have my peace of mind, that is a constant stress in my life, no matter how much I like you, I'm gonna have to exit. You know, like peace of mind is a non-negotiable for me. Do you know what I mean? And like when anyone is obstructing that on a consistent basis, is like, you know what, we have no business being together. And I feel like, I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like knowing your non-negotiables before getting into a serious relationship is very important. Now, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
how like, and I feel like you touched on how to know what your non-negotiables are, which is like when from dating, and like you're dating this person, dating a few people, you already know someone does something, you're like, hell nah, I don't ever want anyone to do that to me again. And then
yeah,
that becomes your
yeah,
non-negotiable. And I feel like sometimes we don't take enough time to reflect and feel like what exactly are non-negotiables before we
yeah.
actually get into certain things.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Okay, okay. I was just thinking, yeah, it's really hard. Man. You can never really totally know your non-negotiables. To be honest with you, I mean, like there are things that irritate you now that didn't irritate you 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Mm,
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's going to need
good.
like a constant reevaluation. But the solid non-negotiables, though, I mean, those ones that affect your core principles, like the core principles of yourself. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have those core principles, then I don't think you can really have like non-negotiables. Most things will look negotiable to you, but if you have like a core
Mm,
principle, things that you live your life based on, then those things are going to guide your non-negotiables. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can negotiate the things that are not part of like your values, but you can't negotiate the things that have to do with your values. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those
a
are the ones that
hundred
you can't
percent.
compromise. Yeah, because they're part of you, you cannot remove them from yourself. Because, so that means they're always going to clash with your values. They're always going to clash with your personality. And so once you know that, you can begin to like define your boundaries and stuff like that. So I feel like
Mm.
it's more about just knowing like the values that you actually live your life on. That's what really matters in your non-negotiables. So you know exactly what you're getting into when you're getting into a relationship with someone. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. I think for me, I just think face your spec, you know your spec, face your spec and stay there. Don't disturb a
Straight up.
woman that is not your spec. Like if she's slim and you want her to be a thickum, don't go and try to change her into a thickum. Like I know of situations where, you know, the guy will literally be feeding the girl and be like, oh yeah, I like your little thick. And I'll just be feeding her and feeding her and feeding her. And she feels beautiful when she's slimmer. It's like for you, do you know what I mean? It's like, so even if you want her to be this thickum, she doesn't want to be a thickum. She doesn't find thickum attractive to her on her. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're turning her into this person that you want when you could have gone for thickum, you know, thick thigh save lives kind of girl. She gets like, what are you doing? It's
I
like,
think
stop it. Like one
that
time
one
I
is
met
kind
a
of straight.
guy who said something, who said something, and I was like, okay, cool. He was like, I like you, but I like my girls more on the thicker side. And I was like, all right, cool, thank you for that. And what did I do? I exited. I did not even let it
Straight
become
up.
a thing. Straight up. And I appreciated the honesty because I'm like, fam, at that stage, granted, quarantine has made me more thick, but and now he's like, oh, okay, you thick. But do you know what I mean? But like before then, He's like, I like you, but you're not, you're not thick enough for me. And I'm like, good, I appreciate that. But now you ain't gonna get this thickness. Just think.
Yeah, I get what you mean. He wasn't
Can't
there doing
What did you
when you're
say?
doing all of. I see he wasn't there when you were grinding and doing all of that, so he can't be fine.
Grinding and eating more, even though to be fair,
You know,
like it wasn't intentional. Quarantine did this to all of us. But yeah, like I just think stick to your spec and there would not be any problem. Sorry, what were you were going to say something?
nah, yeah, I'll just agree with you, man. Stick to your spec. That's the most important thing. Stick to your spec and know your spec. Don't go and be changing your mind. You're like, you're now with her 1 year and you'll be like, maybe I didn't really like slim girls. Maybe I didn't. After all, I was just, I didn't really like slim girls. I don't know why I came here. Know your own spec. Don't go and be changing your mind. Like, you need to know what you like. Know what you're going to like in the long run. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't say, okay, because she's here now and like you're not going to expect her body to change, fam. Like just go into the relationship with the mindset that I'm not going to expect it to change unless she wants it to change. Do you understand? Go for what you can deal with in the long run. Don't come and be stressing people unnecessary because also women, if you're going for a guy, go for an ambitious guy, someone that you see that wants to be ambitious. You can't come and be stressing someone's life that doesn't want to like chase his dreams and
Someone
stuff
that
like
wants
that.
to
You're
be
trying to
lazy, leave him alone and let him be lazy. And leave him.
like that,
There's
man.
no
Like you honestly, you cannot really be trying. I mean, you can do your best, like you can be supportive and stuff like that, but you can't really force people to. You can take the horse to water, but can't
you
make
can't
it
force you
drink.
to drink
So
water. I think
straight
it's
up,
one of
that's
those
what it's
things
about.
where like you can only do your best. And also, do you want to be this person that is fixing someone? Captain Save His Soul. Like every
See,
single thing, I like, they don't know how to brush, but I'll help them brush. I'll teach them how to brush their teeth. Oh, they don't know how to do this, but I'll teach them. Oh, she doesn't do her makeup now, but once she's with me, she'll know she has to. No, 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 no. Nah, fam, stop it. Like you see guys, they'll be like,
yeah,
oh my god, I love my girls, natural, no makeup. Then the girlfriend walks in. And you're like, wait. Why you not just telling all of us that our makeup is like what's going on? Like you say, oh, that's my girlfriend. I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nah, that's rude. That's rude, 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 rude. But see, man. Honestly, I feel like in a way, it's kind of straightforward, but it's still complex in the same sense. You know what I'm saying? What you can actually, I mean, what of situations where someone falls in love with someone they weren't expecting to, maybe one of their friends, and they just ended up being in a situation
It's
where
like
they
when you're
got
already
really
in love,
close,
there's no
and
point
then
trying to change them.
straight up, there's no point trying to change them. But they're just what like someone that is your friend, has been your friend for a while. You know them.
Mm.
So whether or not they're you know what your boundaries are, you know the person. You've known the person for a while. Let's say you've known the person for a long while. So you know what gets them ticked off, you know what makes them happy, what gets them pissed and stuff like that. So you could also fall in love with that person for those reasons and stuff like that. Still try to change them. Maybe you've been trying to change them as a friend, but then you get into a
Mm.
relationship and then you feel like the responsibility is now officially mine to work on this person and change the person. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe the friend I was
Who
dating
said the responsibility is
before,
now mine? Don't kill me.
take responsibility and say, this one is my project. A lot of people like taking projects because they feel like they have like a savior
Mm.
complex or whatever it is. But choose your
Savior
projects wisely.
complex. That is true.
Straight up, choose your projects wisely. I mean, like even if you're going to get into any kind of project, see, it's basic simple maths. If you're getting into any kind of project, you're first going to carry out like an analysis and like check out your risk and whatever it is. Then the same thing, carry out your analysis on the person and say, okay, is this a risk that I can take? Am I willing to go ahead with it, or am I willing to not go ahead with it? So, and then you just come to a conclusion and move forward with it. And like
Mm.
obviously you have to stick to whatever decision you make. That's another thing. Like you can't be changing your mind to things you know that are not negotiables for you. They're negotiables for you. Then you now, just because it's going to be uncomfortable, you make them non-negotiables. No, you have to like stick with whatever decision you decide to make. So straight up.
and pretty much stick to it. Like it's not nice being on the receiving end of, oh, I want you to change this, I want you to change this, and it's never one thing. It's like the long list of stuff, and I'm like, fam, if you don't like these many things about me, then you shouldn't be with me, fam. And that's that. So I think, like, in rounding up, if you had to say like one last word to anyone listening, let's say I want you to do it in the sense of say something to someone who is trying to change someone, and say something to someone who is the on the receiving end of trying to be changed. What would you say?
To someone that's trying to change someone, I feel like you can only change someone in forms of suggestions. You can only suggest the change that you feel is necessary. That communication. Feel like, oh, this is the part that where I feel like you can make a few changes to accommodate your life. If it's not something the person is willing to go ahead with, I feel like you should let that be. But the things you see the person actually trying to change, you should support the person with that. And then someone that is in a relationship where um, their partner is trying to change them, if they're trying to change the things that are part of your values and your core principles that go against who you are, then I don't feel that's the right relationship for you. A relationship is supposed to make you like grow and make you, know more about yourself in a good way, and know more about it blossoms your behaviors and things that you like. So if that's not adding value to you and things that you want to be or your overall goals, I don't feel that's the right relationship for you. But also, it's also down to your discretion and what you feel is right. So that's what I have to say
Mm.
concerning that. To be
No, I
honest,
think you said
yeah.
it beautifully, to be fair. Like, yeah, if you're going to make adjustments for people or your partner or whatever, make sure these are adjustments that you can live with. Make sure they're not adjustments that affect or change who you are as a person. Make sure they're not adjustments that change your way of expression, for example. Like, I understand, like, maybe, for example, if you're loud and uncultured, and this partner was trying to help you, assist you in like being a little bit, these are not changes that help or benefit you in any way. And these are not
Yeah,
changes that you're
yeah, I
open to,
feel like
because the thing is, even if the changes are beneficial to you, you might not receive it in that moment, or you might not want to change in that moment. And the truth is, you cannot change anyone. You cannot change anyone. The person will change when they want to change. So I think it's one of those things where I'm like, stay with who you want to be with, i.e., find your spec, stay with your spec. If the person you're with, yes, of course,
find your
you're
spec.
not going to agree with every single thing they do. You can offer suggestions, like Sham said, like offer suggestions here and there, but don't turn it into a thing where it's a control thing. You're like, oh, you must change this or we'll not be together. What's that? Or don't make it get to a point where it's like you're nitpicking at every single thing they do, including the parts of who they are. It's like it becomes abusive when you start to chip away at who they are. It's like every moment you start to say, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. It turns abusive and can turn toxic real quick. Because then, if you're on the receiving end of this person nitpicking and doing all these things, before long you make certain adjustments and you don't know who you are. So it's like, make adjustments, like Sham said, make adjustments if you feel like you have to, or you want to rather. And make sure the adjustments that you can live with, they're not, non-negotiables. They're not things that you're like that affect the core of who you are as a person. Because yeah. So that's pretty much where we're going to end it today. Shams, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
If you like to
thanks
see
so
more
much
of
for having
Shams, let
me.
me know in the comment section. Say more Shams
Straight up,
in the comment section. Say that again. I can't
like
hear you,
just let
hon.
me say also comment what you think, guys. Let Aisha know what you think about the video and stuff like that. What are your thoughts? What do you think about it? Just tell us what you think below.
Yeah, like, do you think people should be in a relationship with someone they want to change? Do you think they should be in a relationship with their exact spec? Do you think they should be in a relationship with someone who is almost their spec? Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Should you be with someone almost your spec, your exact spec? And in terms of making adjustments in relationships or dating, what are your thoughts on that? let us know in the comment section below. And if there's anything you want me to talk about on the show, let me know in the comment section below. Like, I'm here to talk about what you guys want to hear and what you guys want us to talk about. So if you want more Shams, ask for more Shams. And I'm going to give that to you, right, Shams?
Brown.
If they want more Shams, that's what they're going to get. And if there's any topic you've not yet seen on the show, sorry, say that again, honey.
So there's enough Shams to go around.
Okay, Shams, all right. Shams, I'm sure your fans are out here looking. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to leave like details in the description bar below. If you want to actually be on the show, you want to come on 2 Cents with Aishi Verano, I got you. Now we're doing this remote thing, so wherever you are in the world, you can join in. Just send me a message, aishiverano@icloud.com, and just send me a message or send me a DM on Instagram, and I will find and arrange something, if we can decide on something. But yeah, just rounding up, make sure you subscribe, tap that bell for notifications. Your girl is not yet at 1,000 subscribers though, so I am begging, please, if you see any of my videos, you gotta subscribe, like, share, comment, support your girl, so that when I'm getting YouTube money now, I can be catching flights and taking you guys with me. Okay?
Great. I'm not money now. You not say, Aisha, how far? What's happening now? Where are we going to? No, now. Like the video, share your friends. Do it now, guys. Do it now.
All right. Thank you so much, Shams, for being on. I truly appreciate your time. And yeah, thank you for just being transparent and honest. Thank you so much, hon, and speak soon. Bye, guys. Bye.